everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Paranormal Zone. I'm your co-host, Tom Spitalere. The Paranormal Zone is set up for UFO, UAP, cryptid believers, and people who study and research the cryptids. We purposely do not allow phone calls, so you who are listening, who want to tell their stories, can tell their stories without any impediment. So that's how the Paranormal Zone was founded many episodes ago. I think we're on our 79th now, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong. I have to go back and look at that. But the Paranormal Zone is a love affair of talking about what goes on in the paranormal and what goes bump into the night. And we have a lot of things that go bump into the night. My co-host, Bob, is not here with us tonight. But he's out on assignment. But you can always, if you have some question for him, you can reach us at the paranormalzone.org.com. Our beautiful website, our Facebook website, Facebook too, or Essex County Ghost Project's Facebook page. Tonight's show is going to be interesting. Tonight I'm going solo. So we're going to start this off tonight with upcoming events. Essex County Ghost Project has many events coming up. The next 3 weeks will be Trails and Sales. So this Friday night coming up, which is the 19th, 20th, and the 26th and 27th, we will be at Haunted Hilldale Cemetery doing a ghost hunt for free. Donations are always welcome. So we have other events being planned too as we speak. This year we have a record number of assisted living and senior homes that we're going into to talk about the history of the paranormal. Last year that went very well, actually. They loved us, so we're going back. We'll be at the we'll be at the Haverhill Public Library middle of October talking about local paranormal lore. We're going to be up in New Hampshire, about an hour's north there. I always forget that it's a town I'm not that familiar with. But we'll be talking the paranormal up there too. They actually reached out to us. We do have some calendar space open. So if you want a fundraiser or either me or Bob to come up and talk to you or both of us about the paranormal, bring a group of people, bring a group of friends, get a hold of us, the Paranormal H or our Facebook pages, Essex County Ghost Project or the Paranormal New Hampshire Facebook page. And we'll be more than happy to answer the call, and we can do it. We'll come out and do a talk for you. So we have a lot of great things coming up. We have a live Halloween show being broadcasted high above Union Street, overlooking the beautiful bridge, overlooking the beautiful city of Lawrence, Massachusetts, and high above Jesse's, which is a great little diner place here in the Mill building that we're at. It's very historic. And just so everybody knows, they're not paying for an ad. We're doing this because I happen to like their food. So that's where we stand right now. Tonight's show, we're going to go over some stuff because I still get calls from people going, why? What's going on at my house? Okay. I don't know why it's still haunted. Okay. I'm going to tell you why it's still haunted and what's going on in your house. That's why we come in. So when we first come in, we look for things. We look for important things. Like what could be triggering off the senses you're sensing. What could be doing that? Well, there are geological reasons for doing so, for this stuff happening. Many different reasons. And some of them could be underground water pressure caused by heavy rains or water buildup, earth tremors, wind blowing through loose floorboards, small animals in the walls, faulty wiring that can cause your lights to flicker, Railroad, heavy traffic, house not properly insulated. Now, heavy traffic, why would that cause a problem? Well, let's look at this logically. We were at a house in a small town in New Hampshire, somewhere in New Hampshire, and her house would shake. That was one of the claims. Well, it shook while we were there when a big truck hit a pothole in front of the house. It shook the house. The house was probably 10 feet or less off the road. So that's some of the stuff we'll look for. Strange animal behavior. Animals are the best to tell you if your house is haunted. Hot and cold spots. Smells. Depending on how bad the smells are, would be depending on what type of level you got running, a spirit level running around your house. Extreme hauntings would be moving and levitating objects, physically attack, writing or drawing on the walls, and apparitions. Well, they might be extreme, but they're not that, that bad. So, I mean, those are some of the general signs. So the stronger hauntings would be mild psychedelic phenomena, physical touch, voices, cold or hot spots, and smells. And depending on the smells, I worked at this hotel. We won't say where it is because they've asked me not to talk about it, the new owners. I said, that's fine. So I won't say the name of the hotel, but I worked there years and years ago. And every time around 3 in the morning, we would smell roses. So we always said Rose was there. And Rose did make her appearances every so often. So it's always interesting. So that's some of the stuff you kind of have to watch out for, okay? Do demons exist in your home? Well, if I had $1 for every case someone told me they had a demon in their house, I'd have a lot of money. Demons are very rare. They were never human. They were non-human entities. Remember that as we move forward. Non-human entities. Inhuman entities are most spirits that talk about have lived and died. Inhuman means these spirits have never been touched by the earth or living organisms. So that's what you really got to be. That's where the problem begins. And if you have one of those, then it's time for you to bring in a paranormal team. And Essex County is expanding in a few different states as we speak. So that's always good with the UFO stuff. So I'm actually looking forward to what we come up with. So let's get into this a little bit more. So a demon, and that's the one you really should be calling a demon for, is a low-level inhuman spirit that interacts and affairs with the mortal world. It is said to exist in numerous varieties of demons. Some are good, some are evil, some are a combination of both. The word demon means replicate with wisdom and derived from the Greek word daimon, or D-A-I-M-O-N, which means divine power or a god. Demonic, a person who is possessed and believed to be possessed by a demon or an evil spirit. So. Demonic, pertaining to demons. Demonism and demonology is the worship of demons, of evil spirits. So this is just stuff going over. A demonologist is a person who studies demons and their actions, and usually those are the people you would call in if you had a demon problem. Demonology is the study of demons and their rituals, folk legends associated with them. So, those are the ones you call in. If you get something that bad, remember, that would be the best way of preventing problems, would be doing that. But, you know, you never know what you're going to run into out there, okay? So another thing we would use are electromagnetic field detectors or readers, EMFs. It's an instrument that measures electromagnetic energy frequency. The field researchers of ghosts and hauntings, also known as a Gauss meter for magnetic meter. So that's another meter we would use. It picks up electromagnetic fields. Electromagnetic fields is propagated by a combination of electric and magnetic energy that radiates from a radio and light waves of gamma and cosmic rays. Most parapsychologists believe that they are spirits of the dead manifesting. They create an electromagnetic field. So that's always interesting. So that's one of the meters we would use. The other thing we would use is a tape recorder, digital recorder. My favorite is the mini cassettes, because you can actually pick up more with a mini cassette player than you can any other player. EVP, which is an abbreviation for electric voice phenomena. Voices capture magnetic and audio tape when no one is present and is believed to be a voice from the spirit attempting to communicate with the living. So when I'm doing cemetery tours or your private home investigations, I may ask, is there anybody in the room with us as we speak? And you don't hear anything. When I go back and play that recorder, I might hear, yes, there is. Or, no, there isn't. No is my favorite. They're actually answering, but they're telling you no one's there. They wouldn't be able to answer if no one was there. That's always, you know. And that's one of the best ways. With cameras, sometimes things can be fixed. EVP cannot. So that's one of the best ways of getting evidence, is getting an electric voice phenomena. So a Gauss meter is an instrument commonly used by paranormalists and parapsychologists. It gives the measurements of electromagnetic fields, also known as EMF. Essex County also has got a tech manager who's got an RF meter too, picks up radio frequencies, and another meter just picks up strictly electromagnetic. And that you can usually tell one's natural, it's a natural tri-field, and the other one's just a tri-field. So again, there's plenty of things we do use in this field to help us out. And if you come to one of our library events, we usually bring the equipment for us to look at. A manifestation. People go, I got a manifestation in my house. Well, then when you talk to them, they're not sure if it was or wasn't. But the definition of one is an appearance of or taking form of an entity. This word is also used to denote the outbreak, spirit, or poltergeist activity. So until we know what it is, we don't really jump to, oh, I think we just saw a full body manifestation walk into the room without any proof. I will have to say, coming up on the Halloween season, people get, oh, let's check this out, let's check that out. And then they go, as they get older, hey, I saw this game at the local store. It's a kid's game. It's made by Parker Brothers. I mean, they're a pretty common company. They make a lot of board games, mostly for kids and young adults. But they also make something called the Ouija board. This special game board manufactured by Parker Brothers Company and marked with letters of the alphabet, numbers, and the words yes and no. It is used in conjunction with a pointed indicator called a planchette as a device of divination and as means to communicate with spirits of the dead. Some believe the communication is caused by collective unconsciousness and participants. The outer body experience, known as an OOBE, is astral projection. Well, that's something I'm actually capable of doing. I did it once long ago while I was driving. I actually astral projected. I saw my friend. I said, oh, look, she's at the light taking a left. I thought she was home sleeping. This was many moons ago, so I called her up. This was over 20 years ago. I called her up. No answer. I called her after my shift was over, after a 12-hour day up in Exeter on my way home. No answer. Next day I reached her. I said, so, thought you're out of there. She goes, I am. I said, no, I saw you last night, yesterday morning, taking a left onto 107, heading back to 95 South. And she goes, she was still sleeping. So after further looking into things, I could have astral projected, but I'm not sure. So that's something of interest there. So that's an out-of-body experience. My favorite is when we get to a house or we go to the cemeteries and we do a big event and people go, wow, there's a lot of orbs around us. No, there's not really a lot of orbs around us. A lot of that is dust, dirt, that can easily be mistaken by a camera flash as orbs. But an orb is a sphere of electric magnetic energy produced by spirits, also known as a globule. So that's pretty interesting to itself. I mean, look at how much we've covered. We haven't even scrapped the top lines of this, and we're already finding something of great interest. It's pretty cool, actually. One of the other things we do use is dowsing rods, pendulums, and that's just other ways of manipulating the outside force around us to try to convince them and pray to them too and convince them. They used to do this a lot so they could get food and fish delivered to them, because the natives knew it was a great place to go hunting and fishing. While we were at the time still learning. So, pendulum is an object you can use anything: piece of wood, a paper clip, a pen, even a chain from your neck, as long as it's got a pendant on it. And you basically just put it down very gently with one thumb over the rope or the chain, and then you ask it questions. After a while, if you get yes and no's, and you will also get yes, no, maybe, but you'll also get people who will never walk over that ground again. They rather walk in the street. instead of over that sidewalk that gave them the frilly chills. So that is an interesting story. I was actually still looking into that to see after the fact if there was anything left behind. So let's get into another dowsing rods on my top, but my next favorite is EVP, electric voice phenomena. Always obtain permission to investigate a site first, no matter if it's a private home or cemetery. Whatever it is, always prepare to protect and get permission. Respect the presence of the spirits that are on the property. Respect them. They were there before us, they'll be there long after we're gone. Document everything that's gone on in that investigation. That's the most important thing, is documentation, because you're not going to remember. And when you do EVP work, always be respectful to people. So we have to actually watch how, things are said when you're on tours like that, but you always have to respect our elderly. So I would say make sure we respect the spirits like you respect elderly people. So an EVP. You walk in the room with a recording device, tape cassette, a digital meter, it doesn't matter, any type of meter you can find. You walk in, you look around, you go, interesting, what is here? As long as there's no microwaves in the room or anything like that will spike an EMF. If you get a spike, that most likely means there's somebody or something watching behind you. So it's, time to make that move. But yes, that's how I would play this one out. Some of the questions you would ask when you're doing an EVP. Hello, my name is so-and-so. I'm wondering if you had any questions for me. If there's any more, would you say things like, would you like to speak? Are you a male or female? What is your name? How old are you? What year is this? So that's what I would ask. I'd also ask, I want to try to be political here, but when you were on this plane, who was who was the president? And sometimes if they get that answer right, what plane, at least within the 4-year plane that they were there. Or 8 years, it's something you can go up and look out, So that's interesting. Some of the other stuff you would ask, are you male or female? What is your name? How old are you? What year is this? Who is the President of the United States? Is there anything you would like to tell me? Would you like to speak with us, meaning the spirits the living spirits that are there watching you speak with the owner? Very rarely does that happen. Extremely rarely does that happen. All right. So we've gone over some of the tools. We also use video recorders. Now let me explain video recorders, because we've always had a keen disagreement on video stuff. So if you went out there and filmed everything from the raw footage and everything else, and you just brought it back and posted it that way, it wouldn't look good at all. So what this person did to us the other day was he needed to borrow some stuff. So without asking, he came over and borrowed the stuff when we started, and then we needed it. So it made it a little interesting. We did get everything back though, which is good. So that's good news. All right. So now you know pretty much what we do and how we investigate. So some of the more important would be television monitoring equipment, a portable black and white UV light, because you never know where you're going to set up and what they have for extension cord. Panasonic or an R60 digital recorder, those are the best. They're hard to find, but you can get them. A 35 millimeter film camera, that sounds chaotic to a lot of people, but the film camera closes at a smaller aperture. So with the smaller aperture feed, it allows less ambient light in. So if you have a spirit walking through the town, people are going to remember that. But if you have this sign up till almost the end of taken down, they say, oh, I guess she was a whatever, not my cup of tea, and that was it. But you never know how things are going to work out. And that's why it's so important. 35 millimeter cameras also work at a slower shutter speed. So for you to take a picture, you'd have to download it right away for us to see something. In this generation, the generation before mine, I came out when Apple II, when the Apple IIe started. So it was quite interesting trying to get that. I didn't have my own computer probably until I was 86, 87 maybe. And it was interesting. It was a good time. Walkie-talkies, very important if you get separated in the woods and it's planned that way. So that is always interesting. Now we'll go over the many locations and stuff. All right, let's get into some of the haunted areas here in the Merrimack Valley. Now that we've gone over some of the equipment we use, let's talk about haunted areas. The first place we're going to talk about is, well, Lawrence, Massachusetts, the Great Stone Mill, which is located right near the St. Alfio Society down behind Lawrence General Hospital. That mill has had activity in it, rumor has it, for years. Apparitions have been seen and felt in there. A lot of things have been seen and felt in there. You got that cemetery. Bellevue Cemetery in Lawrence is extremely haunted with paranormal activity. So that's another one. There's been full body apparitions seen in there. Voices heard. Pendulums going off the wall in that place. And then we can head into Methuen, and you have the Tenney Gatehouse that's got plenty of activity, well documented in many great books. The Searles Building, every time I walk into that place, my hair stands up on my arms. And I have much hair to stand up. The Great Court Castle Ruins, another hotspot of a location. So those are some of the locations locally here. In Havel, you have the old Bradford College, Academy Hall, Denworth Hall, Hazeltine. The tunnels I used to hear voices on. You'd see shadows around Tupelo Pond. Kimball Tavern, facing the attic window. That was from the outside. That was actually a picture taken, and it was in the Lawrence Eagle Tribune. We did investigate that place, and we did pick up some EVPs and stuff in there. Pentucket Graveyard, you got the Phantom Rider, the Mysterious Girl, plenty of orbs, burning throat sensations when you're near some of those graves. It's quite scary, quite sad, and quite interesting in there. The Moses Day Homestead, that's located, actually he was a minister to the First Church of Bradford back in the early 1800s. His house stands on the North Andover line at 125. The Jewish cemetery, we got spectral lights in there. That's in Haverhill, not too far from Suicide Pond, not too far. It's actually in the Canosa Triangle. The 9 o'clock ghost, looks like two heads, looks like one head at 9, one and another one on the 12th for 9 o'clock. Whittier's Haunted Bridge. There's poems written about that by legendary poet John Greenleaf Whittier. We've been out there, and out there, that's in the Canosa Triangle. We felt like we were walking through spider webs. I saw a guy walking with jean jacket and jeans and literally disappeared off the trail. That was further down past the Groveland Bridge. You can feel something bad happen there as soon as you walk near the old Groveland Bridge. So it is very interesting there. You also have Lydia Eyre, the Lady in White, the Countess Lydia Eyre, so that's the Lady in White, that's over near northern Essex at that cemetery that forks in 3 locations with roads around it. The Countess Mary Duvoir, she was a lady, Mary Ingalls, born in Haverhill, in the Rocks Village section, married a French count that was visiting, and then when he left her behind. So definitely known as the Witch House. Turtle Mound, located near Haggett's Pond in North Andover, Native American spirits and many other odd spirits. Martin's Tree Farm on House Street. That had water spouting out all over the place in the 60s. That's another great location. They did tear the house down and build condos over there in that side of Methuen, so the house is gone. Be interesting to know if the people listening that live in there know if anything activity is picked up in that place. So those are just some of the areas that, Raccoon Road in Ossipee, that happens to be in the Ossipee Triangle. There was a horse and buggy guy that fell off. He was killed, but his horse still roams the area. So those are just some of the haunted things that are happening around here in the Essex County area. Tonight show has been, put together real nice. I want to thank, all the people that called up and said keep the show going tonight, emailed me, asked me what we're going to do with the show. But we're going to keep going. We're going to keep the shows going. Bob will be back next week. We'll have another great show. But for this week, we're about ready to end this show. This was a little quicker show than we normally do. It was pieced together at the end here. But other than that, if there are any paranormal problems you guys are finding out in your homes as we speak, please get a hold of the Essex County Ghost Project. We will be more than happy to help you out with your paranormal. There is still time for people to book shows. Book us coming into either your assisted living or your library. So if there's anybody out there that October's around the corner and they're looking for something to do, please reach out to us at 978-376-2807. I'll be more than happy to try to put something together for you guys. I want to thank all our listeners who've been listening right along. We're going to continue this show. We're making some great changes to this show, some great strides. We are broadcasting now from the James R. Ross Memorial Studios in a brand new building, which is real nice. An old mill building that they redone over. It's been really nice up here. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. I'll see you in the paranormal. I'm heading back to my crypt. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.